Oh yeah,
That's
I guess
what's
so.
up. What you into, kid?
Well, hi. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm making that up.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not, but I'm glad you are.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was lying. So, haha. No,
Not
I'm
fair.
not. I'm doing really good. I did 2 of these already today because they're a lot of fun.
The video too?
No. This is the first time with video. But
yeah, I win.
yes. Yeah. We get to see your pretty face. Now you have to look at mine. I can't see mine though. What?
When this gets posted, will they be able to see the video as well, or just hear the audio?
We'll see. I think we're gonna try and make it both ways available. Most people are listening to these.
Yeah, fair. But I think like we share it on social media and stuff, then the video would be kind of cool.
Okay. You know, the odd for me, I was talking about with Carl. I was talking to Dr. Blasphemy today.
Yeah,
and
I love Carl.
the demographic of people that are watching the podcasts are generally people that would mean when they were watching us on the show, they were like 10 to 14 years old.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
And the shit that the shit we talk about, that's terrible.
That's what I was, yeah. It was either irresponsible parenting, or at the same time, it was just something that obviously they could share with their parents because their parents are probably cool. That's fair. Because I don't like high profanity and shit like that for my kids. I never did. I mean, it's part of life. It's gonna be around them anyway. Yeah, but they bleep it out on the Ink Master, right? Yeah, on the show, yeah. Here, it's a fucking podcast. Whatever we want. I'm drinking beer and smoking cigarettes and talking shit. So, like, fuck off. Oh no, the kids watching the podcast are not 10 and 14. Just when they were watching the show, they were. Oh, so it's like the core fans from the beginning. Yeah. Oh, so add 7 years to that or something. Oh, then fuck them. They'll be fine. yeah. Or they're already fucked up enough that you ain't gonna. Yeah. It's not one way or the other. We don't push them over the edge. They're already on the cliff. Thanks for fucking watching that dumbass show. No, yeah, from the bottom of our hearts. Yours too. I got it figured. As much of a bad time as we might have. Yeah, the marketing. I tell you what, I have heard horror stories from so many people that went on that, and I had a fucking great time every time I've shot. How many times have you shot now? I shot 2 seasons, and I shot, I want to say 4 or 5 spinoffs, and 3 got aired. I think only 1 spinoff got dropped. What spinoff was it? Well, I did a redemption episode, and it didn't take. And then I did another redemption episode, and they showed that one. And then I did what was the last one? The fucking where you had to compete with the grudge match. How does redemption not get shot? Well, they shot a whole episode with me. Yeah. And then they spent money to have you come out. Yeah. They're gonna shoot it. And then a couple weeks later, they dropped the episode, or I guess the episode that I was in, or something happened. I don't know whether it could have. For all I know, it could have been production, because Cheryl called me and I was furious because I'm like, what the fuck? I did all this shit, and then you guys are gonna just drop it. And then they called me back, and I went and did another one, and that one went. So was it boring or something? What was it? You don't know what it was? Nobody threw a fit? You know what's fucked up? It probably was boring because I don't remember shooting the episode. Okay. Right on. So it couldn't have been too much fun, because I think it was, I think it was a too good of a client or canvas, quote unquote. Right. And they were stoked to be there, and we got along great. And I did an awesome tattoo, and it was like a really good experience. And they're like, we're trying to have people swearing at each other. Sorry. I think that's what it was, because it was too wholesome. You know what I mean? There was no arguing. He was stoked. Yeah. It wasn't like the tattoo I did was terrible the first time. That kind of shit. It was like they kind of just pulled the wrong card out of the deck. You know what I mean? I do. That's why they were getting the Puerto Rican guy for me and all that shit. Then the one that they knew I'd be mad about. And I feel like I just saw a clip of that. I was watching on YouTube with a friend of mine who didn't know I was on TV, and then we were watching YouTube clips, and I think I saw that. You were a dickhead on TV. I never really watched all your shit. It was awesome. Yeah, I was. I mean, certainly when I come back. But do you know the story behind that? Yeah, we talked about that many times. But they showed you they showcased you like a prick. And I'm like, oh my God, all my friends are assholes on TV. Dude, they kind of set it up to where they showed us that's what pays. That's what, you know what I mean? That's what they want to see anyways. That's fair, but I got that same pep talk, but I was just way awesomer. What were you? Because my shit got picked up. My shit got
Fuck
picked
you.
up.
Well, I was on 2 seasons too, asshole, and they aired both of those.
Okay.
But I didn't like. I was like a fan. Like Andrew is like, you're a fan favorite, so they kept bringing me back. Like, you want to come back and play again? I was like, fuck yeah, I do. Because I went home the first season, and the whole crowd that my cheering squad was fucking furious. There was an uproar on the internet about it because it was like, it's almost better to go home when the fans of the show don't think you deserve to go home than to win, and then get forgotten about.
Yeah. Did Nunez say, he kept saying it to my season, to 4 or no season, definitely to season 4. I feel like he might have said it to 3 too, but I bet not. I think he said it to 4. He said, number 3 did better than 1 and 2.
As far as the season or the contestant?
Contestants.
Of course.
He was basically saying Tattoo Baby did better than anybody else on the show.
Yeah, because if someone goes home they think should have won, that's the person everybody's holding on to.
Right.
And it was funny because they used to do those bits like, well, why do you want to be the next Ink Master? And I was like, well, I don't. And like, we can't, like, we're recording. You can't say that. I'm like, well, why? Well, you got to say like why you want to be the next Ink Master. I said, I don't want to be the next Ink Master. And they're like, okay, well, fucking why? And I'm like, well, A, the name is fucking stupid. And this is, I'm saying this in interview day and like on camera. So I'm like, A, the name's fucking stupid. And how in the hell can you expect someone to master a craft we haven't finished evolving yet? I said, number 3, who the fuck wants to win? So I'm just here to make good TV and have a good time and market myself. Like, fuck, nobody remembers who the winners are. Unless you're fucking Josh Payne. Everybody remembers Josh.
Well, yeah. God bless him.
I love Josh.
You can't forget Josh, yo. Anyways.
Excuse me. No,
who
I
else
love
is
you.
one that we remember? Clean one.
Clean, yeah, clean.
Dunn is kind of memorable, isn't he?
Who?
Jason Clay Dunn.
Oh, Jason Clay Dunn. I thought you said Don. I'm like, who the fuck is Don?
No, Dunn. Sorry.
Jason Clay Dunn won, and everyone hated him for it because he wasn't a fucking new school guy, and everyone talked shit about him when he won.
Right on.
And he was always
he won over Clean.
Yeah, he was so full of anxiety that when all that happened and the internet blew up against him after he won the fucking show, he that's when he kind of vanished. He went like opened a new shop and like stopped touring and like he just stayed home and quiet. He like kind of like hermited himself. That kind of negative backlash has a bad effect on us. I didn't, however, give a fuck. I loved it. I loved when people talk shit about me on the internet. It was great.
I didn't love it, but I did engage more with that than I did the compliments.
Yeah, that's fair. So did Clean. Clean would just like comment publicly like fuck you, and I'll fuck you and Ralph and your mother too and shit. I'm like, damn, dude, you need to like dial that back.
Because you travel.
Huh?
You're gonna say some shit. You travel.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. And somebody talks shit, he's like, fuck you and your whole family. You're a bunch of whores. And I'm like, Clean. Like, what the fuck?
I think he lives on a squat rack and a bench right now anyways. So
he lives in a school in like Wisconsin or some shit. Did he buy a school?
Yes. Yeah.
That's so weird.
No,
it's
awesome,
but weird.
Indiana, ain't it?
Oh, I don't fucking know.
It is Indiana. He's throwing concerts or something there.
Yeah, car shows and shit. It's awesome.
God bless him.
Speaking of concerts, I just got confirmation from, I believe it was Chile, because I'm going to South America next month for 2 weeks to tour with Jane's Addiction.
Juanes Adiccione?
Yeah, I'm excited. Two weeks in South America.
Explain that for my viewers, please. What do you do for Dave's shows?
Well, basically, we hang. I'm going to assist the lead of the suspension part of the show. Asked me if I want to come out, and I've done this a few times before. Excuse me, in the States. And we just go and we run hooks on hot chicks and get everybody set up, and we watch the band jam in the back while they're getting ready for the show, and we all go on stage. Hot chicks.
I guess I'll explain it. For
the
novice who doesn't know,
you talking about the suspension part?
Fish hooks. You put big fish hooks in the back of people's skin.
Hold that thought. I mean,
hold the thought. Well, I can keep talking. You put hooks in the back of people's skin, and then you hang them over Dave as he plays guitar.
Yeah, I don't know why I told you to stop talking.
You're like, hold up, no. Radio silence, Kyle. Yes. Now that's what you're going to go fishing with this weekend.
Boop. No, actually, I'm bringing these to North Carolina 2 days before Philly to do a suspension show there.
And this is with Steve Truitt, right?
The Jane stuff is, yeah.
Okay, right on. Or the other stuff you're doing with somebody else.
Yeah, the stuff I'm doing in North Carolina was with a body mod guy that works out of my friend's shop.
Right on. Steve Truitt, a friend of ours who does suspensions, because Dave likes to get freaky deaky and pierce himself up, and then have rituals, right?
Yeah, you
He
say it
drinks
like it's a
children's
weird
blood
thing.
or
Like I
something.
haven't. You say it like I haven't done that a million times.
What, drink children's blood?
No, hung,
Okay.
hung from hooks.
Well, how does he stay so young? I figure that's what he's bathing in
Oh,
children's
I mean,
blood.
that's a whole other ball of wax. I'm not trying to fuck with that. But as far as the hook stuff goes, we share that in common.
Right on. Right on. He has to do a lot of health stuff, I imagine, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Or is it all makeup?
No, he's probably
Smoke
got
and mirrors.
like whatchamacallit. He probably does like all kinds of fucking herbal teas and I don't know, magic wishes and shit too. Because I mean, you have to look that good, that old. I mean, I don't think I look bad, but I know Dave's older than I am, so.
Yeah, and he looks better than both of us put together.
Right.
Poor guy. Well, I have to address that because it's always in the comments. People always want to know, is Dave really that beautiful? Is his hair that silky? Is his butthole as white as we've heard?
I mean, I haven't seen his butthole. I've only seen his balls, but his balls look young.
They look what?
Young.
Young. He's got young balls, huh? Like Dave Chappelle wishes he had.
Right.
He shoots him up with Botox.
Oh, gross.
No?
Like boiled eggs in a sock.
It's not the biggest dick, but boy, is it pretty. Like comes out with its own glow.
Oh, stop. That's the
I've
gel.
heard he has talked about on his show. He used to have a Dark Matter show, and he has talked about his butthole being extremely white, like not in need of bleaching.
Dave said that?
Dave said this, yes.
That's something to volunteer, isn't it?
The guy's kind of an open book.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. He did send me a ball pick, so I guess that makes sense.
He sent it to you. It wasn't so. I figured you were just there hanging out. You know, you guys were like,
oh,
hey,
no. He legit sexted me one night. It was amazing. So like even my daughters know this. I'm like, yeah, I got sexted by Dave Navarro. No big deal. You know, not trying to brag.
I think you just did.
I sent him a ball pick back. I didn't know what to do. I figured it was courteous.
It wasn't an accidental. What did he write with it?
No, he sent me the ball pick, and I was like, nice. And I think, I don't know, I was nervous. And I was a little drunk. I went in the bathroom and took one. He goes, yeah, see, you know what dude's like. And I'm like, oh my God. I love you, Dave. If you hear this, I'm sorry I shared that. I mean, it's probably fiction. So for the viewers that aren't Dave Navarro, believe whatever you want. As far as Dave Navarro
definitely
goes,
not slander.
Definitely not slander. No, I love him. He's a fucking doll. I can't wait to see him again. Last time I saw him was in Philly at the show. It was great.
Right on. You find him to be genuine and pure.
Absolutely. He's a sweetheart. He's almost kind to a fault. It's like awkward.
Yeah.
Like you're backstage. You good?
Those people seem fake to me. And so like when I talk with him, it's tough for me a little bit because he seems like so in your face, like he thinks he's the Dalai Lama shit.
But honestly, he's just like that. Like you're backstage at a Jane's Addiction concert. He walks in the door. He's like, Aaron, gives me a big hug. Anybody need a water or a fruit or something? You guys all okay? Everything's good? Blah, blah, blah. Does his thing, fucking chats it up. Like, of course, he talks to the girls because he loves his ladies. But he was just, he's every time I've ever been around him, and I've been around him a lot outside of the show, he's just a nice dude. He's just pleasant to be around.
Right on. Almost disappointing to hear.
I know everyone's like, is Dave Navarro a dick in real life? I'm like, actually, he's a fucking sweetheart.
A lot of people don't know that he performs his job. He does a job. Like people think that for some reason he shouldn't be there, but even if it wasn't for his giving the viewer the idea of what the canvas judge should be judging.
He's a consumer opinion.
But as well as that, he's just he's pretty. He's fluid. He does it. He reads those cue cards. Only time I've seen him stumble is on commercials.
Yeah. No, he's
like
great. And he's honestly, I don't see him being like, he doesn't like put on, in my opinion, and when I've been around him, whenever we've been on and off camera, I've never seen him to be different on camera. He's just part of a show at that point. So the subject matter of the conversation changes. He doesn't change.
Right. Again, I'm disappointed to hear. I wanted more, you know, he's actually a douchebag, man. He gets backstage, starts talking about everybody behind the back.
I feel like everybody expects that, but he's just a nice dude, and it's kind of refreshing to realize that he's not a douchebag.
Well, you know Ali as well, and you know Nunez as well, or not?
Not as well. Actually, believe it or not, I know Dave. I think I've known Chris and Ollie longer, but I know Dave closer. Like
Okay.
I've known them from the tattoo industry, but we were never homies, so I don't really know them personally.
I follow. I've only known of Nunez from the show, Ali from the tattooing back in the day, traveling a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he was always loud.
Yeah, always loud and always at Texas shows. He was always in Austin. That's when I first met him, was in Austin.
Right on. I only met him in California.
Gotcha. Chris,
But I
I've
don't
met
get out
outside
West
the
Coast.
show. Chris, I've met outside the show, and he was always a sweetheart. He's always nice too. They dimed him out as a bastard the entire show. Like he almost quit at one point. I think he almost quit on our season because he's like,
Nunez?
I'm tired of being. Yeah, he's like, I'm tired of looking like a fucking asshole. And then like I'm trying to be real with people, and then because they come on here as a contestant thinking I'm a fucking asshole before they even get through the door, then he gets grief automatically because everyone thinks he's a prick. So they just throw it at him like, A, it's TV, B, why not? This guy's an asshole, and
Right.
C, they don't really know any better. And Chris,
And
like,
it's
dude, I'm
not
not
like
gonna,
they didn't learn anything from my exit.
no.
I did better in memory. I did better than many people than the possible winner of my season.
It's wild. It's wild, and it's funny how much more seriously the fans of the show take it than we ever did.
Oh, I took it pretty seriously.
Well, your situation was much different than mine. I didn't have an altercation like that. I never had a bout with
Right.
anybody that was real. Even the shit that was with fucking Chris. Who was little Chris with the bow tie on season 5?
Oh, Element?
Was that Element? No. Chris Element was looked like Fred Durst. Ryan Eternal. Yeah, Chris Element. So it was Ryan Eternal, Chris Element. Anyways, Ryan's a sweetheart. He wore a leather vest and a red cap, and everyone called him Joe Durst or some shit when we were backstage. It was hysterical. It drove him nuts. No, but me and Chris had a blast, and they kind of like, because it was a rival season. Emily got sent home, and then me and Chris one night, I don't know if I told you this or not, we were filming from like 4 a.m. to God knows like 12:30. And I'm like, and we're holed up in the living room while they're shooting a scene in the pool table room in the back. And I couldn't even get up and get in the offstage kitchen to get a fucking beer because they were going to come in again. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Chris is like, you want to be done? I'm like, yeah. He goes, watch this. He's like, follow my lead. So we all get on the couches. We all kind of poise up. And like, no one's really paying attention. There's like one handler there, like a PA or something. All the producers and sound guys and the videographers are in the other room.
And they're shooting, working.
Right. So Chris just starts screaming at me. He's like, you motherfucker, like full volume screaming. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Just that shit was fucking trash. Like, we're just, and we ad-libbed, I swear to God, a 20, 25-minute fucking argument, screaming at each other. And this was the scene where I get up and I throw my bandana in his face and he pops up like we're going to fight. You don't remember that?
Right. Okay.
It was fucking hysterical. In that scene, what got missed in editing is when they pan across some of the other people, there's Eric Suit on the couch with his arms crossed and he's fucking laughing. But it was so quick, they missed it. But if you pay attention, like as soon as I throw that fucking bandana or right before they pan across, there's fucking Eric laughing his ass off because he knows we're fucking around.
Right.
So the whole time, even after the producers the next day, like, what's up with you and Chris? Like they believed it. The hook, line, and sinker. Even the producers believed it. It was fucking hysterical. Either way, we got done working because they got their content. So like you could hear them stomping down the hallway. They left that scene cold turkey. Didn't turn the fucking cameras off. Ran down the hallway because we were arguing in the other room. It was amazing.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was wondering is how bad it was in the other room that they were like, no, quick.
Well, this one's real. Let's go get that. Like, yeah, it was fucking hysterical.
What were they trying to film in the other room? Have you any idea?
Oh, I have no fucking clue. None of us gave a shit. We were all tired. We wanted to get drunk and go to bed.
No, it said you are there, 14-hour days, right?
Back in the day, yeah. Now they cut off. They cut off now.
Union.
They start. What's that?
There's no union, so the camera guys, they'd work them as late as they possibly could before they had to pay them time and a half.
When I went and did the last season, season 9 I did, and then the other spinoffs since then, they've since changed all that. So they're done filming at like 9 p.m. on the dot. Like they don't fucking go crazy. Like not anymore.
That makes sense. They had a lot of protests. Do you remember out in front of some of the finales, they were having protests from unionized workers because it was a non-union show.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there was also sexual harassment charges going on. One of the camera girls was face fucked, kind of mock Facebooked.
By who?
Wow, it was Ali Nunez or Navarro. I don't think it was Navarro.
No, I don't think Dave. Dave's not that guy. Dave's too like he doesn't need to try. He's too charismatic. He's like hi, and they're like, okay, well let's fuck.
So if I'm gonna put it on anybody, I'm gonna guess it was Nunez. Or not Nunez. It was
Ali. Ali, yeah. Well, he's already in a world of shit anyways over the other bullshit. So like it's not gonna hurt him anymore to talk shit about him.
No, yeah, you can put that on him. No,
I mean, what's it gonna hurt now?
During my season 4, they were going through a sexual harassment charge where they got settled out of court when they paid a hefty fine. It was reported that between Nunez and Ali, they unwanted, touched, tickled one of the and I seen them being a dick to her all the time. Like
which
literally,
producer?
What?
Which
no,
producer?
like it was like one of their handlers. They had 2 handlers instead of one.
Okay.
And they were being rude to one of them because they wanted to keep the other, if I'm not mistaken.
But
they were, I mean, it seemed like they were friends because from a distance, you're going to like, she's smiling nervously.
Right. Gotcha.
And then after that season, I heard about the sexual harassment charge that was coming out.
No shit.
And she got in a car accident with Nunez and he asked if she was on the rag and if she needed a hug. And then at one other point, allegedly, maybe I should say allegedly in front of all this because it's got settled out of court. But they asked her if she liked to suck dicks. When she started feeling ill and wanted to leave, they asked her if she was sick and possibly pregnant, and something about if she sucked dick so she couldn't get pregnant or something like oh well you suck.
That's a little insensitive. I can't imagine why she'd be upset. Jesus.
I'll have to put it under allegations though, because again, it was all settled out of court. There's no
fair. I mean, none of us were there.
Yeah. But I did see them throwing bottles and stuff. Like she would get them a water bottle, they'd drink it, they'd go to hand it back to her. She reaches for it and they're like across the room.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
When I say they, I should say Ali.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm not surprised. I can see him doing that.
No, yeah.
He doesn't hold back his assholeness.
No, he kind of turns it on. But when you know him too, you think that it's his way of endearing himself to you, you know?
I think he believes that.
Yes. I imagine you're right. The whole time it was in a different context and probably a lot more innocent than it sounds when you just put it in transcript. But
sorry, my lighting's not better. I've got one lamp in here and it's not very bright.
You living in a van by the river or you by the ocean?
No, I'm in my fucking school bus, baby.
It's pretty. What kind of engine's in your school bus?
Believe it or not, it's a 91 Chevy Bluebird school bus, 30 feet long, and it's got a 366 big block V8 in it. It's a gasser.
Right on.
With a 5-speed manual transmission. It's just so much fun to drive.
Yeah? Is it got good suspension down the highway then?
Fuck no. It rides like it's on fucking rails. It just like I've had to fix so much shit from driving because it just rattles the whole goddamn thing. Right. It's beautiful on a smooth road, but bumps are fuck. I actually dropped the scooter off the back of this once because of bumpy roads.
Have you seen any of those aftermarket? This is completely stupid to talk about, but they have ballasts, rubber ballasts you can put in your front springs. And you can pump those up with pressure and help yourself carrying heavier loads going down the highway.
It's possible, but I'm sure it's not so much the front that's the worst, it's the back where all the weight is. Okay. So it's over the dually wheels in the back. So I got to figure. I don't think if I could change it, it'd probably be way too much money to fucking worry about.
Right. Yeah. Or
you're not living in it on the highway. You're living in it when it's parked. So it's like you're driving it. It's like whatever. Shit bounces around, and then you get to where you're going, and you put it all back together.
Yeah, you have an earthquake every time you go somewhere.
Yeah. Smooth roads are a blessing, though. I'll tell you what.
How'd you get on the Rivals?
Rivals. Well, this is my first season, so I was literally on an airplane, and I love saying this because it sounds cocky, but it's not really meant to be. I was like sitting in first class with a mimosa on my way to Italy.
You have to explain your situation then, because you've dated the owner of the airline, right? Weren't you the boy toy for some rich magnate, oil tycoon? Was
No,
it? You were
actually,
Richard Branson's boy toy. That's what it was.
I wasn't anybody's boyfriend. I'm the tattoo artist of a major airline's son. His father's the CEO and president. So I fly wherever I want to, and I tattoo him whenever he wants to.
That's awesome. That's a good deal to have. Too bad
Yes.
there's not more CEOs' sons out there that like tattoos.
Yeah, right. I just did that. I don't know if you saw that Johnny Cash portrait I did a couple days ago. That was on him actually.
Oh, right on. No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
he's a good
I'm
dude.
not too much for following stuff.
Fair.
I mean,
But
I should, but you know, I play Call of Duty all the time.
yeah, I
So-
used to, but it takes a little too much time. Plus,
Yeah.
I don't have my Xbox in the bus, so I just fucking sit here and watch music videos and movies all day.
No. You've got an iPad.
Fair.
Have you played Call of Duty Mobile?
No, I think I tried it on my phone and I hated it.
Try it on your iPad.
Yeah,
I'll show you
maybe.
some tricks.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in love with it.
I was good when I played with a controller, that's for sure. But I started
Right.
with Counter-Strike back in the day on the PC. I was using a keyboard and a mouse.
But if you learn the crab fingers, it's easier to track people without the controller, you know?
Oh, I see. I see.
It can be some work too, but I don't know. I like killing little 13-year-olds and imagine them throwing mommy and daddy's phone across the room. Like, oh, I
Yeah,
hate you. Yes.
Oh, what the fuck were we talking about? Oh, I'm on the airplane. We're in first class. I'm drinking a mimosa and the fucking phone rings. And I'm like, who the fuck's calling me from New York?
Right.
And I
right.
always answer my phone. I answer my phone to telemarketers all the time and I fuck with them. So I love answering the phone. Like, who the fuck are you? How'd you get my number? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Don't try and sell me some bull. I'm that guy. So I answer the phone. They're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. This is so-and-so from Ink Master. I said, oh, hey, what's up? I'm like, well, we want to see if you're interested in doing season 5. I said, well, that's funny. I said, well, I went and did a fucking casting call for season 3. And then I went and got interviewed and got basically plucked out of a convention as a potential for season 4. And you guys didn't give a shit about me then. And she was like, well, that's fair, but I don't know anything about that. And we want you now. And then we continued to talk and I landed in Milan. I did my convention. I went from Milan to Dublin and in a hostel. I was at the Generator Hostel in Dublin, Ireland. And they let me use the entertainment room downstairs, which is a big auditorium they used to like do bands and like they play movies and shit in for people that are staying there.
Okay.
All by myself. I had to rearrange all these lights around me. So you know how to do the fucking video interview, the first Skype interview for casting.
Okay.
And I did it and that went through and then like 8 months of fucking 9 million photographs of different outfits and fucking glasses on and off and all that bullshit later. I woke up like the day after my birthday or a holiday or some shit, fucking half drunk, half hungover. My back with plastic covered in blood because I had my shoulders worked on the night before while I was wasted. Had sex with some broad in the tattoo shop upstairs in our loft bedroom. And and Cheryl called me, Cheryl Wayne. And I'm like in bed with this broad covered in blood, half in the bag and fucking just like completely out of it. And I'm like, hold on 1 second. And I get dressed and I go out front, light a cigarette. She's like, Aaron, I was like, yeah, what's up? She's like, you didn't make it.
Bullshit.
I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like yesterday's my birthday, or today was like on my birthday, or some shit like that.
Right.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? After fucking 8 months of this bullshit, I'm yelling in the fucking phone at her. I'm like, this is fucking not a fuck you. And she's like, I'm kidding. You got it. You're on. I'm like, you're a piece of shit. And that's what
Cheryl.
it was. My birthday's my birthday's April 1st. So she thought it'd be cute to give me an April Fool's joke, not realizing it was my fucking birthday. I'm like, you're a fucking asshole. I was like having a panic attack. I'm like, after all this bullshit, you're gonna tell me no.
Cheryl was awesome though, because she was crazy like that.
I love Cheryl.
What's she doing now? Do you know?
Last I heard, because she was a PA when I was on season 5, I think, and a producer. And I think she went up to executive producer for season. She left and came back. And I think season 9, she was an executive producer.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. But that was also, I always loved Cheryl. Everybody else hated her.
She was wild, but she was awesome that way, you know?
She was honest. And she gave me grief. I gave it right back.
I don't remember her being bad, though.
Mm-mm. They hated her.
Liked her.
She was pushing an interview, and nobody could give her pushbacks. They just thought she was being a bitch and just like, fuck you, I want a different producer.
Right.
Meanwhile,
a lot of people.
She was the Liv Moss bullshit. I'm like, sure, I'm not fucking saying that. That's fucking bullshit. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, use somebody else's stupid fucking Taco Bell bites. I haven't even gotten tacos yet.
I was mad that they didn't use mine.
I did a couple here and there, and they came and scabbed them in the commercials. But for the most part, all the sponsored shit, I was like, nah, I don't eat dicks. Like I don't care.
Right.
Like I'll say what I believe, and if you pitch me a line, like if they pitch you a bite, then they're like, this based on how we know you, like this seems like your opinion. I'm like, it is my opinion,
Right.
and I agree with it, but I'm not going to say it like that because they didn't have writers kind of like drum up
Yeah.
like fucking examples. I'm like, give me a second, and they would always give me like an apple box and an apple crate. What they call apple boxes?
Apple box.
And I always had like fucking 3 beers on one side, and whiskey and a Coke on the other side. Like, give me a second. I grab my beer and I'd be like, I got it. And I would do my bites. And I would say what I felt and what I meant, what I believed. That may have been rooted in their suggestion, but that's the closest they ever came to scripting anybody, was trying to pitch you lines for bits and shit like that.
For you.
Yeah. Well, they knew I wouldn't fuck around with it. If they did script anybody.
Like as much as you didn't bite for that, and I had such a hard time, even if it was exactly what I would have wanted to say, after they told me, I couldn't say it, right?
Right.
So like, as they would do that, I think I pushed back, but I feel like I watched the show and you can see kind of when one of the producers suggests something, because the way that they say it, it's almost too soundbitey sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Well, they also start a scene with like, hey, Kyle, what do you think about Aaron's tattoo? And the fucking cameras would go up. And you'd be like, hey, Aaron, this is what I think about your tattoo. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying, because there's a little bit of that like staged kind of presence, especially the beginning of a dialogue. It's always the beginning. Like it's always, that was the hardest part for everybody that I saw, was like getting started. Like I may have hated your tattoo, Kyle, but I'm not going to say, hey, Kyle, your tattoo's a piece of shit. So I'm trying to like start an interaction that could potentially become abrasive, but in a way that feels genuine, and not have you fucking be like, dude, really hate it after that fucking cameras go down. You know what I mean? I'm like, I still want to drink a beer with this asshole when we're done. You know, don't fucking, you guys get to leave. Like,
you know, on season 3, it felt like, at least, and I bet 1 and 2 were similar too. There was a real purist kind of attitude. And 4, it felt like it changed. And I think by 5 and 6 and 7, people kind of were like, we need to have a show. We're here for the entertainment as much as before. I think people were really under the idea that this is a legit contest. You know, we're going to find out who the best of us is. And not that they're not a legit contest because they offer legit money. But that's
and it's all contracted. Every competition, whether it's the Flash Challenge or the tattoos, they're all contracted. Like it's all legit and legal. But they have to have drama to have an actual television show.
You and to speaking to that, you and your rival weren't rivals.
At the time, no.
Yeah. I'm going to skip over a bit as much of that as I can too. You guys have developed. Ink Master helped you develop a rivalry, huh?
Yeah. Oh God, I got other funny stories about that too. I actually told Dave this one time. I said, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person from that entire season. Well, I mean, party of 2 that actually had sex with a rival. It was many moons ago after the show, but irrelevant. It's funny to say that. Dave's like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we were
Wasn't there a couple that was on the show at one point?
Not as rivals.
No. Didn't they break up?
No, I don't think so.
We're still together.
There's a couple that was on my season 9 that did split. I know that.
Okay.
But they weren't rivals. They were on a team together. They were representing.
Well, they should be back though. I mean, too bad the show's not still going on. That's where we're definitely going.
Ironically, they're in really good form right now. From what I just heard, latest news is they're great friends, and it was the best thing for them both, and they love each other. So
just kudos to them. Right on.
Yeah. They split up, and it took a little bit of work, but I guess now they're great friends, and they're good with each other, and the rapport is really good. So it makes me happy.
Right on. So Emily, though, was not an enemy at the time, and they said, hey, we need you to have an enemy. Well, you were working with Ish, right?
Yeah, they casted me. Ish told me that, and I was in Sweden doing a guest spot. I think I invited him. I introduced him to him and my friend Mickey from Sweden at the Detroit show. And then circumstantially, he was out there doing a guest spot when I was, before he ended up moving out there and trying to dominate the entire town of Jönköping, Sweden, which was a mess. And he's an idiot. That's neither here nor there. Anyways, he gets me on, and his rival. He goes, be really good. They need a rival. I love working with you at shows. I think it'd be really great. Your personality is great for it, and I'll give them your name.
Right.
So that's when they called me. And then after, like, I think it was like halfway through casting, they're like, oh no, maybe it was in the big. No, it was about halfway. I don't remember that. Like, I was pretty sure I'd gotten it. Like, once you get a couple months into casting, you know you're in there. You just gotta jump through hoops. So they're like, listen, your rival that we had casted before dropped out. And I was like, fuck. So I'm on the phone, like, oh, here we go. I guess I'm done. Like,
Right.
but listen, we really want you. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty sick. I mean, that makes me feel better about being casted from someone else, giving them my name. They still wanted me anyway. So I was like, oh, cool. So I held my ground, right? I held my own. They're like, well, we want you to find somebody else for us. And if you could think of a female that would be good on television that you would rival with, give us some names. And I think I gave them 5 different names. And they called all 5 people, and Emily was the one that stuck out. And then, like, I guess I was at the bar later that night. It was the same day they made all the calls, I guess. And then Emily texted me. She's like, "What the fuck did you do?" And I was like, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
And that was it. And then she went through casting, and we did all this shit together. And then we went back, and we did the show. I mean, history since then has changed, of course. But like when we were on the show, she went on like with a character. Like we went on season 5 knowing that the tattooing was real, the judging potentially was real, the images you see on the television of the fucking work is real.
Right.
But when the fucking machines are down, we're fucking actors, we're talent. You know, we're trying to make a name. So like it's marketing. My theory was they've been fucking tattoo artists since season 1 and making millions off this show, right? And maybe not necessarily with an intent. Like the marketing is there if you take advantage of it, but a lot of guys didn't get anything from it, but they were still making millions. It's a TV show, of course. We weren't getting paid like actual talent. So I'm like, if I'm not getting actor pay, and you're telling me this clout from your TV show is going to be my real payment, then I'm going to take fucking full advantage of. I'm going to fuck you over. So I went out of my way to make sure that I did what I could to get screen time and take advantage of the marketing. Like I'm going to do what I can to make sure I'm remembered.
Right.
Emily's theory was the same, only she decided she wanted to be the biggest bitch they've ever seen. And I was like, that's an interesting theory and concept. Good luck with that.
Right. It's sad because she's really sweet. And
They got to the point where we hear fucking heels coming down the hallway, and even when the cameras were down, we're like, "Fuck, here she comes again."
Why? Because the cameras would come up, or what? Or she would be being a bitch.
She adopted his personality to the point where it was fucking annoying. The only time she was like, when we had wardrobe off and we were drinking beers and throwing tampons at the wall and the windows outside, just wasted and shit, she was a doll. But when she was in fucking, in obviously in uniform, when she was in fucking
the ink mistress uniform.
Yeah, it was just like this persona and this snap lippy fucking arrogance was in the fair flips and shit. I'm like, Emily, you gotta fucking stop, bro. Like you're gonna get fucking murdered when you get out of here.
she was people
would cry at nights on the show because she got so deep into this persona that she couldn't get out of it because of the way that they would set her up in the dynamic. Like they
told me she Al Pacino'd.
No, she just
she Robert De Niro it, where she's just in character all the time.
She wanted to. She realized that she didn't want to go off as the bitch she'd become, and she started getting nervous, and she started seeing annoying. She was like annoying all the other cast members, and everyone's like, "Dude, you got." I'm like, and I was like, Emily, you gotta fucking cut this shit the fuck out. And she'd be crying. She's like, they won't let me. They want me to keep doing this shit, and they try and give me a reason, like. And then the whole like her medical conditions and stuff came up, and it like kind of they kind of used that as momentum because you couldn't just change her personality halfway through the fucking season. Wouldn't have made any sense. So,
but it's hard to make someone care about somebody's medical things when
they're being an asshole
all the time.
Exactly. So she tried, and she went off, and they still think she's the biggest bitch ever because they only showcase that part of it. Right. And then I watched her cry her face off for fucking eons afterwards, getting death threats and shit on the internet because everybody fucking hated her. They remembered her. They remembered her and they wanted selfies, but they didn't want to get tattooed by her because they thought she was a cunt.
Did you guys didn't stay in the same bunk? You had the same living arrangements as my crew did, right?
Yeah, boys' room and girls' room. Yeah.
Okay, right on. Sorry.
No, you're fine. To be fair, that didn't happen.
What's that?
That didn't happen between me and her. The physicality crap was like a year after we were done filming. Like because she moved down to Florida after we shot, so when it aired we could all be together because we grew closer to friends, right?
Well, where was she at?
She was in South Carolina or Tennessee or some shit when they
I
filmed.
guess I always thought of her being in Florida.
Well, she was in Panama City Beach when I originally met her years and years ago, but she moved with her dude after that, and all this shit happened. She's like, "Fuck it, I'm moving back to Florida." And because I was in the Tampa Bay area, she came down with us, and then we did all the premiere parties and all the viewing parties together.
That is fun.
Mm-hmm.
What do you wish they kept in the show? Anything? Like, I know they cut some stuff out of my show I wish they showed, but
They had fucking metric tons of footage they didn't use for our season. They were like, "You have been force feeding us content to the point where our editors are having trouble right now."
good.
There was two things they cut out that would have been good scenes for me, I think, but also it would have made me look like a bigger dick. It was in the very beginning when I think it was Caroline and Julia did we had this Rose and Skull challenge thing at the very beginning of our season. And it was fucking trash. Like, it was so bad that I can't. So we started the scene, and I'm like, "What do you think about that?" I'm like, "It was garbage." I'm like, "That's a fucking rudimentary. That's the bare bones brass tacks of tattooing. It's skulls and fucking roses, and they shit all over it."
Right.
Like, okay. They're like, "Okay, Caroline and Julia, you're gonna do a scene with Aaron in the living room." And I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And right then they did it, and I fucking did one of those whole, like, when you get up during a scene and you're shooting and you go do something aggressive, they eat that shit up. So I'm like, this is my shot. It's fucking, I'm gonna start the season off with a bang. So I'm like, dude, I said, "You guys fucking butchered this fucking tattoo." I'm like, "These are the bare roots, the literal foundation of what we do for fucking hundreds of years, or however long it's been in the eastern side, in the U.S." I'm like, "Skulls and roses are a pinnacle, right? And you guys fucking took a shit all over it. That should be the first fucking thing you learn." And I was like, "Hold on, let me help you out here." And I got up and I grabbed one of the skull sculptures off the shelf and came back and slammed it on the coffee table. I'm like, "That's a fucking skull. The fuck did you tattoo?" And I just went the fuck off. And
They loved dropped.
Everybody loved it, and they got dropped. And then I talked shit about fuck, what's his name with the weed that went home for smoking weed?
Oh, Hibbard.
Josh Hibbard, yeah. I fucking
Did
blasted.
You really go home for smoking weed?
Two things. Yes, the weed was one of them because it was illegal in the state that we're in, and they already warned him once, which they don't tell you. They took away his shit. But then afterwards, he had a little pen and he was blowing it in fucking sound people's faces and shit like a smart ass. So I'm like, "Yeah, we're done with you." And then he was also cheating because he had an extra cell phone that supposedly only had music on it, but it had fucking thousands of reference photos he was using for flash challenges. But I railroaded him for like 30 minutes on one episode over his fucking biomech shit. I said, "It looks like a fucking pile of fucking shitty butter knives." Like, "What the fuck you're tattooing? That's not biomech." Like, I just reamed him up one side, down the other, and they fucking dropped that too. I was like, "What the fuck?"
He thought it was gold?
Dude, I knew it was gold.
Like, I'm shooting diamonds here, man.
Something about him being a fucking front runner. They didn't want, the new guy for his first season beating him up so bad over a tattoo that really had no major relevance.
I follow. It's funny. I mean, that definitely is part that plays into it. One time I chewed out a judge who came on there and was being an asshole because he was being an asshole. And I made him look like an idiot because he was like, "I don't need to be here." I'm like, "You're here. I don't get it."
Home. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get why, he's like, I was like, "You're not down here competing. So kind of fuck you, really." And he was like, "Well, I don't have to be here. I'm better than this, basically." And I'm like, "You're here." Like, right? Like, how do you work that one, bud? But
I don't have to be here,
of course.
Yeah, I don't have to be here, but you're sitting in the fucking chair, aren't you? You're getting a paycheck, you piece of shit. Like, fuck off.
No, you got paid eventually. Didn't you get paid for returns?
Oh, I got paid. We all got paid from the beginning, but it was smaller amounts. So every time I went back, I got paid more.
Right on.
So we did get appearance fees per episode, which is what they called it.
Okay.
And then every time I went back, my appearance fee went up because whenever they bring me back, you get more money because they want you to come back. So, and then I think
unless they have it written into your contract from the very first, like they did with Tattoo Baby and I.
Yeah, fuck that. That sucks.
I think so. I think it makes me go a little crazier. I think if I'd been maybe making a paycheck, if I could have afforded to feed my family during that time, second time around, probably been easier, but. Star Spangled Banner, Ollie's racism in the Star Spangled Banner. I've told people about this story for some time, but I really wasn't there, and I'm just telling them your story. He
just looked like a fucking dick. Like when you're in person, you're like, I was like, wow, what a fucking asshole.
But he went off on when Dave was playing the Star Spangled Banner. Several of the guys took a knee, yourself included. to show.
I did. And what they don't show you on live TV is they actually shot that 4 fucking times. I don't know how they figured it out, but I think they knew it was going to happen. So they timed it out where they had so many takes before they had to actually go live with it. So they ran us through practices we didn't know about.
Right.
So
on.
we all thought it was live every time. And then they retook it. We're like, oh, wait, what the fuck is going on right now? So it had to have been pre-planned because they knew. Because we had a number of contestants on season 9 that were people of color, all different races, all different sexes. And even Clean, like, he goes, dude, take a knee. I'm not going to because, Clean loves America. But he had no issues with anybody doing it, right? Nobody did.
Right.
So even if you weren't taking the knee, you were standing next to them, supporting them. And we all loved each other. The contestants grew really close at the end of that season. So we do the first shoot. Of more than half the cast, and there's like fucking 26 of us or some shit on season because it was pairs,
right?
Huge number of people, and half the boom drops to the ground, and the fucking crowd is fucking cheering. They all fucking, you know what I mean? Everybody's in support.
You're in New York. They're pretty liberal out there. They're gonna love.
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck yeah! I just did something powerful on live television. I feel really good about myself. And then we stand back up. He goes, oh, let's shoot that one again. I'm like, what? So we shoot it again. We all take a knee again. A couple people don't do it this time. Shoot it a third time. A couple less people don't do it. At this point, we're just getting irritated, tired. We want to move the fuck on.
Right.
And then I think that's when Oliver fucking loses his shit. He goes, everybody needs to just fucking stop. What the fuck is going on? He like gets up. I think he came on the stage. He's like, you motherfuckers need to respect the fucking troops and the flag and this goddamn country. And if you don't, you can get the fuck out, you pieces of shit, blah, blah, blah. And we all were just like, what the fuck? Like he lost his mind. The whole crowd, everyone was silent. This whole auditorium was silent. And then
he said it in the whole auditorium present.
Yeah, in front of the live audience and the whole 9 yards, just screamed at fucking everybody that they were pieces of shit because they were taking a knee.
Right. This guy that dressed in blackface 9 years ago, he knew about. He stood up and gave everybody a morality lesson.
Yeah. At that point, that was the first time before any of this, and I knew that I didn't know that he was treating contestants differently based on color, and I found that out afterwards from a few people specifically. And I never really saw that side of him because I wasn't really around him enough. He was always joking around, talking about his motorcycle, talking shit about tattoos or whatever. And then when that came out, I was like, that dude's a dick. Like what the fuck? Like
sometimes, as a white person, sometimes you don't really know that somebody you're hanging out with is a racist or even has that bigotry until they do this one when they tell you, hey, come in, and they do that.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing because like I feel like I should have known that because I'm an open-minded individual, but the fact that I didn't recognize those triggers or those signs naturally,
right,
that made me feel ignorant. You know what I mean? And maybe that's part of the honesty about having white privilege is that we're not directly addressed with it.
Right.
And I don't deny that. I mean, I'm a white dude. Like I know I look like an insane person with tattoos and shit all over my face, but I created that. So I get grief in public for my own creation, not because of how I was born. So we don't deal with that on a daily basis. And certain things I wouldn't recognize as signals of that. So I never really did. Plus lack of paying attention, lack of having a reason to. Like if somebody goes, oh, Oliver Peck's racist, I'd be more in tune with what he was saying to people, but I've never had that opportunity. In any sense, that was like the first thing that happened that I saw that fucking asshole side come out. And I was like, how are you mad about that? Like it's a protest about racial inequality and fucking police brutality. How is that? How is doing this to a fucking dumbass song? Like the song doesn't represent the land we walk on, the people that live here, or the fucking troops. It's an anthem. Like I'm not shitting on troops. I've got my whole family's in the military. I mean, if you go to the military, thank you, I love you.
Well, have you seen this one? So sometimes when people get in fights, they almost pull their children into the fight. You know what I mean? Like, or they'll pull their grandparents. Oh, he said my last name. Now he's talking about my family. You can't talk about my family. Yeah.
You taking a knee, you're basically kneeling.
To fight.
You're kneeling on the troops' pain and blood. Like, no, I'm not. This has nothing to do with the fucking troops, you idiot. Like Kaepernick was very clear about what he was protesting, and nobody fucking cared.
And his protest actually came from a Marine.
I know. Which is the sad part because that got disregarded because it didn't go with the fucking rigmarole that the other side was fucking yelling about.
Rhetoric, yes.
They completely just like, yeah, that's just not important. That's not important. Yeah. Oh, what are you saying?
Makes my flag cry.
Oh, it's so dumb.
Makes my
Like
flag cry tears. Then the
that's the
colors start to
freedoms.
run.
If there were any American military troops, forces, soldiers, anybody that defended this country and helped provide freedom, which I'm not sure we're doing right now, besides shitting on everybody else's countries and taking oil and shit. Like if there any point in time that our military, like legitimately, and they have allowed us freedom, that's not, no one's talking shit about that by taking a knee about police brutality. There's not, like, any rational human being understands the difference. Like, it's just a fucking stage that a football player who's got a name can actually use to give a fucking message.
Well, are you familiar
beautiful.
with the person who wrote the song "Our Star Spangled Banner"?
I think so. I mean, I
Francis
don't know.
Scott Key.
Okay,
He was one of the richest slave owners in Baltimore.
Oh, see, that makes even more sense.
He wrote 2 stanzas in the that are extremely racist.
I didn't even know that part of history. I just didn't give a shit.
2 of the stanzas in this anthem itself have been removed because they say no refuge will save the hireling or slave from the curse of something or another, or the end of the grave. So basically saying slaves and hirelings that the British hired were going to die or be killed. And it talks of the free man as his superiority over them in some sense too.
Oh, wow.
Because it has another line about free men.
That almost gives me another bit of respect for Kaepernick for being so thought out with his protest, because that's really, really powerful.
I think a lot of people don't know some of our history like that. Some people don't know. If it wasn't for the Enigma, I wouldn't know this. But
that's a brilliant motherfucker right there. I love him.
It was either 1932 or 1942 was the first time that we ever put one nation under God in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, really?
Before that, it was one nation.
That's a dumb song too.
It's not a song, is it? Well, I guess it could be, but
what is that fucking a go Team America mantra that you say in the mornings to pep yourself up? The fuck is it for?
It could be just that and used well. But when you put God in there, you actually become divisive with it.
And that's the thing. It's a tool, just like everything else in this fucking country and run by government and religion. They're all fucking tools to keep us all in check. We're all fighting with each other over fucking skin color, but we're all broke buying TVs we don't fucking need while the rich get richer. It's a fucking sham. The whole country is. And everyone's like, fucking America, man, it's the greatest land on the planet. I'm like, are you sure, bro? What'd you just buy on Amazon, you dumb motherfucker?
Where'd you get it from, Amazon?
It's crazy.
There is something to be said there. We would maybe produce more. I do feel like a great country. Because I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But then again, my mom's here and I know I got to put her in an old folks home. I got to take care of her. I mean,
I'm out of here soon. I'll tell you what, my kids are getting older. I'm fucking gone.
Where are you going? Puerto Rico?
France probably. France probably. Really? Yeah, right. I love France. And France, and if I'm near Paris, well, anywhere in France, really, it's not that big of a country, but I'm in the center. We very little. I understand more than I speak. I know more Italian than I do French, but I'm learning French now actively. Ironically, my ex is half French and she's almost fluent by now, and she's going to France for 2 months, and it inspired me to start learning again. So actually, I've got a little note for myself. It says learn French right here, as a matter of fact. And I called my buddy in Paris. This afternoon. I'm like, listen, I want to learn better French. So we're going to start doing classes once a week, a video chat, so I can actually be immersed in
France.
No, I love France. I've been all over France. It's a beautiful country, and the people are amazing. Cocaine is good
cold
too.
There, eh?
What's that?
It gets a little colder there than you're used to.
Yeah, not so bad though. It's dealable. I've been there in every season, but the cocaine's really good. So,
right on. Always important to check on that.
Well, I said it before, but you didn't hear me, so I had to repeat myself.
Oh, okay, right on. All right,
I actually did cocaine. I actually did cocaine in the what is it? The first royalties castle of Cognac, France. And I was doing rails in the kitchen.
They were too. The royalty was too.
It was a proud moment. And
You
I
might
don't do
worry about
drugs.
fentanyl.
I don't know. That was years ago. I don't do drugs like that shit. I think I can count on one hand how many times I've done coke. It was just funny. And most of it's been in France.
Right. That's why you want to go back, huh?
No. I want to go move to this little village called Angoulême, which is like an hour away from Cognac. It's fucking beautiful.
You think you can make money there tattooing or what?
I kill it in France. I fucking slay every time I go. It's unbelievable.
Right on. They tip out there.
Some of them.
Nobody
the ones
tips.
that know, the ones that know, and the ones that are transplants. Because we got to realize that not everybody in France is from France, just like not everybody in America is from America. So, plus
they don't understand tipping.
Right, but the price points are so good. It's like it's almost like it's kind of included. So, and plus with the currency exchange difference, like I'll make $4,000 in a quick trip, and then come home and I got $5,500 in American. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice.
Unless you got to change it out of the fucking mall full of people that you don't know and walk back out to your car with fucking $5,000 in your pocket. It's pretty scary.
That you've done?
Yeah.
No, what about taxes?
What about them?
You know what? Never mind.
We should leave that alone because me and the IRS are not friends.
I was that's what I was thinking on second thought, you know what? Fuck that shit.
Honestly,
I did have a friend tell me he would go overseas and he would make a lot of money and stay over there for some time. And he said he would buy a watch, wear it back, a nice expensive watch that would keep its value.
So you don't have to carry the cash back.
Yeah. There's no question about taxes.
You can only bring back into the country. You can only bring up to $10,000 in actual notes and currency.
Right.
And no matter what denomination. So if I've come home with like 5 different currencies before, and if they all together equal $10,000 or more, or no, over $10,000, then you start getting the questions.
Right. But then you could buy one Rolex.
Exactly, and that's a smart way to do it. But I wasn't going over there making.
Oh, look at that, dude!
What?
This is kind of our second time doing this, but we're pros. Like high five,
right?
Yeah, we just killed that.
Are we done?
I think so. I mean, we can chat and shit, but I made it through all the questions. All the hard part's done.
Oh shit! We thought all kinds of wild shit last time.
Yeah, but we got a little too crazy at one point too.
Yeah, that's true. I think I talked about like 3 exes.
That was it. Once we started talking about exes, I probably should have stayed off that. I'm beginning to figure it out. I started to feel like it's already happened with Jim Francis and Jay Blondell, General Jay. They got a little animosity for each other. And so I start feeling like Wendy Williams in the middle of these guys.
Oh, Jesus.
It's actually why I've done 3 of these today, 3 podcasts. Yours is the 3rd. I talked to Carl earlier. But before that, Jim Francis, the Throof goes, he called me up this morning to kind of give me some hell about giving, Jay a platform to talk slander against him. So I was like, well, wait a second, dude. I got the same platform for you. Like that evens it up, right? Come on in. We'll talk about Jay. But he did good. We didn't. I'm trying. I'm gonna have to keep it on a level,
Has anybody else talked shit about me yet?
No, 0. No. I'll try. Yeah.
I don't have. I mean, unless you bring Emily on this shit, I don't think I'll have anybody talk shit about me. She's the only one I think in all
cases, honestly, I need to. Some of that shit is pretty personal, and I'm just gonna have to try and steer around it, and maybe even learn to edit. Oh,
it was. Honestly, it wasn't even that big of a deal. We just fell out over a breakup of mine, and she chose the wrong team. So, whatever.
Well, it's always the problem you couples get when you want to make people choose teams.
No, I didn't make anybody choose shit.
Okay, one of the problems that we've had as artists, as a married artist, my wife and I, is sometimes guys usually, will bring their girlfriends around, and they'll introduce them to my wife. Like, oh no, you didn't do this because you weren't playing around on another girl. But then they'll bring their girlfriends around, introduce them to my wife, and then later my wife will end up meeting their wives.
Oh, geez, I never did that.
Yeah, it's like it sets up a pretty shitty situation, where you're like, man, I thought I already met your wife in the last town. She looked different.
I had my own experiences with stupid infidelities when I was very young. And in my adult life and my long-term relationships, I've been very loyal and very loving, and they just don't want to hang around. I've always become this fucking launch pad for them to think they're super awesome and they leave me behind the dust and then they just fizzle out into nothing.
Or you buying them new tits?
No, I'm taking them around the fucking planet on fucking airplane rides to all these countries to tattoo and covering all the goddamn bills.
Right.
Except for the last one. Belena was amazing and she worked right next to me like the best partner I've ever had. And that's why I got out of that last time is because I'm still mad.
She was a tattoo artist too, or?
Fantastic tattooer. She's an amazing person, a great performer, and a fantastic tattooer. I love her. I love her with all my heart, but she don't want to be with me anymore.
Performer. What, you guys both hook up together and swing around?
No, she does aerial. She does Lyra, which is a big hoop. And
yeah. Uh-oh. Something happened.
Sorry. Trying to call me. I just hung up on him.
Oh, okay.
But no,
so
were you in Tampa?
So I'm guessing, of course, as kinky and freaky as you are, how much you like hooks in your back. She swings around on aerial poles. You've got some kind of an apparatus inside of that bus there, your swinger bus.
Oh, I've got
the two of you.
No, I've got some gear attached to the bed though that I hooked up after we split up to try some new shit, and we only got to do it once.
That's kind of an advertisement then for your rolling love bus, brah.
Yeah, but bring your own restraints. I've got the gear. I've got the hardware. I don't have the wrist and ankle restraint.
Right on.
You got to bring your own restraints. I can hook you up, but you got to bring your own restraints.
Someone just comes over, ball and gag and restraints. If they travel like that, well, I guess they're DTF.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, if I do end up ever selling the bus, I'm kind of like, do I just leave these here? Like, I put big fucking like pad eyes in the fucking wood frame with fucking paracord to fucking like hardware, like hardcore carabiners to hook to fucking restraints. So I'm like, do I leave these? Do I leave these here when I sell it?
And you be careful if you ever get pulled over.
Right? Yeah, I don't have like duct tape and plastic bags or anything either, so I'm safe.
Right on. Aaron is traveling in his own personal rape van.
Ugh, gross. No. She asked for it. No, that sounded bad too.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't mean like
I don't
that.
know if she asked for it, but you should have seen the dress she was wearing.
No, she literally asked for it, and I had to take the restraints out of her fucking prop bag for her shows and hook her up at the bed. That shouldn't go in the podcast.
It shouldn't, yeah. But it's too. I told you I don't edit. It's why we're doing a second.
All right, fuck it. We'll keep going. I mean,
you want me? I can end it. Let's do this.
No, I don't want to end it. It's funny. It's funny. Keep recording it because we got more.
Stayed too long. You've said too much.
What else do we got? We can talk more shit than this. How long is it? What's the time on it right now?
Candy already edited me 3 times today on some shit. I mean, we can talk all you want, bro. But she's already been keeping me more mindful of some of the things that because like something happened at one of the last conventions that I thought was hilarious that involved the tampon being stuck to a ceiling. And I guess it's just a story that is not ready to be talked about. So it's a future.
You talking about at the studio at Ink Master?
Candy just came on and said, "Stop it!" I told you, I'm not talking about nothing, bro.
No, I think we're talking about 2 different things. I was going to tell a story about when I was filming. It was some of the backstage, behind the scenes stuff.
You guys were throwing tampons at shit.
We literally went into you know how they had the crew showers in the hallway where the camera crew was and all the camera equipment was?
I didn't know they had showers there.
The studio bathrooms, the females' bathroom is I think there's a shower in the girls' bathroom, and there's also like this big like lunch bag in one of the stalls full of fucking tampons for the crew. So one night we would go in that back door and go pee instead of going up the ladder every night, and we just sneak in the studio and go pee right there because we would be getting drunk and peeing off the fucking balcony and shit it was a mess. We were a mess. But we went in there and took the fucking bag of fucking tampons out, and we're dipping them in beer cups and flinging them at the windows of the boys' room's loft, like the windows. Like there's still a fucking tampon hanging off one of those windows.
No, still.
I swear to God, every time I go back to shoot, there's like 2 of them still stuck somewhere. It's hysterical.
Were you guys the ones that egged the neighbor's roof too?
Yeah, that was me and Mark.
Okay.
And that wasn't on purpose. I think we talked about this before, but that was I beat him at a challenge, and he was convinced he was going home. So when we got done filming, he got fucking wasted.
Long neck.
So we're climbing on the roof. We're throwing toilet paper across the fucking courtyard like it's flinging everywhere, like we're having a fucking rager, right? Mark's losing his fucking mind. I'm at one end of the roof and he's the other, and I don't realize he's got eggs. He's like, "Yo, Aaron, how's it feel to know you probably sent me home, you fucking piece of shit?" And he's smirking, but he's you know, you can tell he's a little bit mad. and he fucking beams me in the leg with a fucking egg from the fridge. I didn't know he had in his fucking pocket, and it doesn't break. It bounces off my leg, which hurts way worse, by the way, and fires across the courtyard and smashes on the roof of the neighbor's house. And then the next day, the sun comes up in the summertime, and it fucking bakes the egg. So the whole fucking this whole giant white splatter mark across the fucking roof of the neighbor's house. Just one though,
right on.
Yeah, but it was like the mark was like 5 feet. It was huge because it went. The fucking egg went 30 feet through the air before it hit the roof.
Could you tell it was egg because there was yolk or not?
Oh yeah, and shells and everything. It would look like we egged the guy's house.
Right on. I thought maybe there was a chance. It just looked like a pigeon had a problem while it was giving birth.
Yeah, a pigeon the size of a dinosaur. So Andrea had to have a whole meeting the next day and yelled at the entire cast about it, and we explained to her what happened, and she's like, "All right, I get it, but just you can't be fucking around on the roof anymore." Because we were legit like on the roof of the studio. Like we climbed up the back door. The back door in the living room goes out onto that landing, and then you can climb up on the other part, and you can get around the side where you can see the courtyard. So we were acting a fool on the roof of the fucking studio, like fucking 3 a.m, wasted, while our handler was inside playing on his fucking cell phone, throwing eggs and shit and toilet paper all over the place.
Did he get in trouble?
Yeah, I mean they all did.
Right on.
We didn't give a shit. They like, what are you gonna do? Send me home halfway through
a
season?
What you guys do because like they give you a break every once in a while. They let you out of the house, take you to the mall or something.
4th of July. 4th of July.
Okay.
That's what it was. It was July when we were there. June and July. 4th of July. We went out to the mall, and there's a local mall. It's got a movie theater with like these big like end tables, and it's like a boozy and snack. You can get like fucking finger foods and booze. And it was all on them. So we sat in our fucking chairs, and I just repeatedly ordered shots of Jameson. Everyone that was in the movie got fucking hammered. Me and Mark are wobbling around the mall. We split up from handlers, and we fucking were walking around with one of the security guards. And I'm buying like expensive nail care from kiosks, all wasted and shit. It was bad.
When you say security guard, you weren't with one of the security guards from the show, though.
Yeah, we were with the armed security. No, we were with the security on the show. One of the armed security guards. They sent 2 of them with us, and
we didn't have armed security guards. You had armed security guards. Huh?
Yeah, it was heavy. And then we went and we convinced our security guard that our Aura, remember Aura?
I do, yes.
I love Aura. We convinced him that Aura told us to meet us at Ruby Tuesdays or Spaghetti Warehouse or some shit at the bar. And then Mark just said, "Oh, I think he told her we were going to be there." Told one like Jason Clay Dunn or something. So everyone kind of accidentally converged there. Meanwhile, me and Mark are just slamming drinks. So we're fucking hammered. And then some fans come up and they recognize Jason Clay Dunn and fucking Josh. And they want selfies. And Mark's like, "You can get a selfie with anybody you want as long as you show your titties." Like he's all wasted. And then Aura comes up and the security guard's just quiet. And he's like, "I don't know what the fuck to do with this." And then, now we've got a crowd around us. And they're starting to realize it's happening. Like we got a security guard, we've got a handler with like a clipboard, we got all this bullshit, and Jason Clay Dunn and all these other tattooed people.
So they start looking for cameras now.
They're like, "Oh fuck, they're filming a new season, and we're here at the mall with these guys, and we're getting selfies with them and shit." And Aura lost her fucking mind and dragged us out of the mall. We were like punished 6-year-olds. It was so funny.
How mad was she? She's a Russian girl, right?
Yeah, she's real mad. Real mad. We got back to the studio, and one of our other PAs at the studio had literally sweet as pie. On the back balcony, he got a kiddie pool, a little blow-up palm tree, and all these decorations. It was going to do like a beach party 4th of July thing, and got a bunch of beer and all this shit. And then we got back, and we were like grounded. We weren't allowed to have a party. So like 3 of us sat out there quietly, like had a beer and smoked a cigarette, looking at all these blow-up decorations and shit because we got in trouble from the fucking mall. It was so fucking funny.
They didn't have an in-school suspension to give you, or that was their equivalent of it.
Yeah, they can't really do anything. Like honestly, when you're on the fucking show, outside of like your specific case with like any kind of argument or physical altercation, well, they can't. What do you do? Send me home? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I can do what the fuck I want to do, and you can yell at me, but you're not gonna send me anywhere. So like, once we started realizing that, we started acting a little bit more ornery, and we're like. And then once you get sent home, like, what do you send me home again? Like, eat dicks. Like, you're going back for interview day. I'm like, what do you do? What do you send me home twice? I'm already at the fucking DoubleTree. Eat shit.
How often did they only let you out on the 4th of July then?
No, I think it was a couple times they would take the boys to the gym if they wanted to work out and like little shit like that. But I didn't really give a fuck. I just stayed there and hung out. Like we're in fucking bullshit Newark, New Jersey. Where the fuck am I gonna go? Like I went on a road trip one day to go get booze. Like I went with the PA to get beer at the liquor store.
You didn't go to the gym?
No, fuck, really?
Dude, you're missing it. Jersey gyms are amazing because they're full of guys wearing $150 sequined Ed Hardy shirts
Oh, Jesus.
and $300 like Versace glasses, and they're pumping in this. Doom, 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 doom. I'm serious. It's like a nightclub. You're like doing bench presses to fucking a nightclub.
Yeah, I had no intention on doing that shit. I just like, oh, it's my day off. Do you guys want to go to the gym? I'm taking a nap on the couch and getting drunk. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Well, you're trying to preserve yourself from the inside out. Then you don't want to. You stay longer that way. I figure, huh?
Oh yeah.
Or you figure.
Oh, who was the guy that in season 9? The only guy that stayed up with me was fucking Tommy. What's his face? He came back for a second season. He was in the first or second season.
Tommy Helms.
Tommy Helms, yeah.
Oh, right.
He was a late nighter with me. He was the one that I stayed up drinking with on my season 9.
Super cool guy. Really nice.
He was super awesome. I really enjoyed being around him.
What about you? You weren't on the season with Eric Suida though, right?
Yeah, that was season 5.
Okay, right on.
That's what I was talking about before. Like when me and Chris Elman had that fake argument and they pan across the guys on the couch and him laughing.
Okay, I thought you were saying it was Chris Element that was the laughing. I got it. I thought they caught Chris breaking character.
Yeah, no, Chris is the one. No, Chris was the one I was yelling with. And when they pan across to show the other guys' expressions, which they like to do, there's Eric there with a fucking smirk on his face because he's laughing his ass off and trying to hide it.
They did the same for you guys, I imagine. They have a bunch of canned expressions, so they ask you questions. Like we're opening a hot tuna fish sandwich right next to you.
Yeah, especially on critique day.
Now, when you watch those critiques go back, did you notice? It's hard to really tell if they're your genuine reactions or not.
Couldn't even tell.
Couldn't even tell.
Right, it's so weird. The only thing I noticed, because I know that we're mic'd and we're transcribed and we're recorded as soon as the mic goes on. And there was one thing I got into a tangent, and at that point, my first season, it was when my ex-wife left me, like 3 days before our wedding anniversary, and treated me like shit. And I found out she was cheating later and all this crazy shit. So I went on the show with a kind of like a fuck that bitch attitude, like you watch what happens to me after you left, you dumb bitch. And I was drunk doing an interview day one time, and I went on like a 45-minute rant about her. And they were playing an episode where me and Emily were going head to head on like an arm tattoo or some shit.
Right.
And then while they're doing footage, they scab in that dialogue, and it's like narrating the fucking scene. And I just blasted my ex all over national television. And we were at a fucking bar, and I was watching this show. We had all these people at these viewing parties. We had a bunch of friends in Tampa anyway. So like when we did viewing party, we filled the bar up. And as soon as that scene hit, and I just and they only played like a minute or two of it. Right. It was like the choice part. And I just railroaded my ex on national television. And then everyone at the bar turns around and looks at me. And I was like, oh, fuck. They just put that anywhere, don't they? I had no idea that was coming. And my buddy's like, you need a shot. I'm like, yes, I do. Like, I didn't expect
you call it scab in. That's, I follow, yeah, where they scab it in.
They just plugged that shit in a scene during tattooing. And I was like, oh, fuck. That was me talking mad shit about my ex. That just got aired.
Like you're talking about Emily, though, right?
No, it was literally like I'm never gonna let another woman or another person in my life fucking dominate me or drag me down. And it was like using my ex as an example why I wouldn't let Emily ruin this challenge for me.
Oh, right on.
And it worked perfectly, but it was literally me talking shit about my ex-wife. And when it hit national television the day it aired, I was like, oh fuck, she's gonna get a call.
Yeah, but she treated you kind of rotten.
Oh, of course. And in hindsight, I was like, whatever. But when it happened, though, the shock of it being like that public, I was like, oh, fuck. Like we had like 5 million viewers per episode in that season. I'm like, this is not what I want to have happen right now. And it was still pretty fresh. So I'm like, I'm going to get a fucking phone call. I never did. But whatever.
So have you talked to Andrea since? Any of the production or any of the crew?
Not since. No, the last time I was there doing a spinoff, which was the grudge match thing. That was the last time, and that was a year and a half ago now.
Okay.
Ironically, my current ex, Milena, who is a fantastic tattooer, was casted for, I think, what the next season would have been 13, right? Or 12.
Seems like it was 13, but yeah, I feel like they shot 13. They did shoot 13, but then COVID happened, And the lawsuit happened.
Whatever happened where they were casting whatever next one, she got casted while we were together.
Okay.
And I don't know if her being with me had any influence, or maybe that's how they found her or whatever.
Right.
But she got casted along with another couple friends of mine, and then that's when it fell apart, and they just dissolved everything. So I was like, oh my God, my new amazing girlfriend that I'm traveling the world with, and we're in Germany right now, just got casted for the same show I was on. This is amazing. We're the best power couple in the world, blah, 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 blah. And here I am, sitting by myself in a fucking schoolhouse.
They're making an international one, right?
I don't know. I heard something about something coming back, but I know they had one in the Netherlands. It was horrible.
Okay. I just had some friends that were from the Netherlands call me and tell me they just got cast. They didn't get cast. They didn't get picked, but they were going through the process for being cast for Ink Master.
They've been doing it in the Netherlands since I did season 5, I think. And the show's terrible. It's nothing like we do it over here. The production value is way lower. And they cherry pick like old timers, like kids and shit like that. Like the whole like bureaucracy about it, and the whole like mobster kind of vibe behind how the tattooing works in the Netherlands is different than here. So everyone hates on the show. Plus, it's terrible to watch, I guess.
Yeah. You haven't seen it yourself, but you've just heard.
No, what the fuck do I care?
Have you watched any seasons after your season?
No.
Okay. It's. Am I wrong in saying it's hard? I have a hard time watching. Like
I watch my shit because it's funny, but like I have friends on every season, and I'm like, hey, I'll see you next weekend. What the fuck do I care?
Right. You'll tell me. You'll tell me all about it, and it'll be better when you say it.
So I pay attention to who's casted, and I watch their social media and stuff, but I don't like watch the episodes. Like I never really liked the show to begin with. It was just it was a stepping stone for marketing, and it was fun to be a part of television production.
Well, I believe I was pretty sure that you were going for season 2 or 3. Like there was some kind of rumor running around Detroit, and it feels like Detroit really? Was right. Was that?
I was at a casting call for it.
Right.
In New York, ironically.
Oh, you went there?
No, I went to. They did a casting call. We had a convention. Fuck, were we? It was I think it was in Long Island, and then I heard there was a casting call like the next day. So we postponed our trip home and went to Manhattan the next day, and I did a casting call just to see what the fuck would happen. And then I did my stupid thing. They were there. I didn't really give a shit. Then we went downstairs to the bar and got wasted, and I had a great time in Manhattan for a day.
Right.
But I mean, it's funny that people thought I was going to be on it because I never got called back on that.
Yeah, no, it was a little rumor. It seemed, you know the way rumors get though.
Yep.
When we were watching that show go off, it was always weird. You were wondering which one of your friends is next. You know.
Right. I've known people since the very first season, and it's been crazy watching like my friends be on television. But yeah, it could have been somebody at the fucking casting call that went with me that saw me. That's where the rumor started. Who the fuck knows? There's a shit ton of tattooers in there in line trying to get fucking casted on a stupid television show.
Didn't they stop the live finales at one point too? Or no, the after parties. You guys didn't get an after party too, right?
No, they didn't. They stopped the live finales. They started doing them in Vegas, and they pre-record them, and they just shoot them like whatever. So like they weren't live anymore. I think season 9 was the last live finale.
Was it because they were losing viewership? Or
I have no idea. And ironically, it's funny because the next season that aired, that did their live finale in Vegas, my ex, the tattooer Belena, went to that live finale with her ex-boyfriend, who was also a tattooer, because they were like interested. Like they both, like ironically, my ex knew who I was, and so did her boyfriend at the time before I met her because they watched the show.
Okay, right. That make it any harder too, or
on the relationship?
Get over a persona idea of you?
No, because honestly, we met organically, and it kind of like, because I've looked so different since she saw me. She's like, oh my God, that is you. Like she saw me, but didn't like put 2 and 2 together when we met. So like our chemistry worked really well organically. And then we laughed about that she had seen me on television.
Right.
Which was just funny at that point because it didn't really matter because we had such a good connection.
Where are you working at nowadays?
I'm at my friend Peter's shop in Clearwater, Florida. It's called Poison Apple Tattoo, and it's amazing.
So I thought you were telling me you love it out there.
Yeah, it's a great little shop. It's fucking beautiful. He's got it curated so you feel like you're in the Haunted Mansion at Disney. Like stacks of books and melted candles and shit, like paintings on the walls. It's very dark. It's fucking cool. It's a cool shop. Like,
Where's
we
it
don't even
at? What's the city?
Clearwater, Florida.
Okay.
Best
Right on.
beaches
Big
in the
city.
best beaches in the country, according to TripAdvisor.
So Sarasota says every year.
Sarasota's a bunch of idiots.
Do you guys, I think it's like Cedar Point or like amusement parks. Every time you go to another state, they're like, we got the #1 rated amusement park in the world. And
Yeah,
you're
but
like,
this actually is the #1 voted beach on TripAdvisor by patrons of the site.
okay, right on.
So it's actually a legit title. Like, Sarasota could have the best beach in Florida or whatever, but they don't have the TripAdvisor fucking legit numbers that we do, which
You
is
got
dumb
better
because
sand.
they ship it in.
Your guys'
Ironic-
sand tastes better.
Ironically, that's the beach I hate going to. I go to all the other beaches because they're more. You can't go to the fucking Clearwater Beach and see fucking fish and shit because it's all so curated and manicured. Like, they're there, but when you're in Florida and you're at a beach, it's literally all sand and actual fucking current. The fish and crabs and shit don't hang out there. There's nothing to hang out with.
Right.
So I go
They
to
can't.
like Honeymoon Island and fucking and what's the other one? A bunch of other little beaches where I can actually go and see wildlife because I'm a snorkeler, so I like that shit.
Okay.
So
How long
like
can you free dive for?
Oh, I don't remember. I haven't counted in a while. Over a minute before, but I don't remember. It's been a while since I've actually done it and not counted.
That's good.
I've also picked smoking back up, so it's probably not a minute anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that. You would pick up smoking with losing the girl?
That's what happens when you get fucking dumped. You fucking like, fuck it. I don't give a shit anymore.
So what we gonna get you back on the grinder horse or the Tinder?
Grinder horse. Ironically, I picked up Tinder again, just kind of as a gag. And it's fucking horrible. Like, I've never seen so many weird looking people in my life.
That's what their algorithm thinks you like, bruh.
Like, you know what I do on Tinder? Nope. No more people in your area. I'm like, oh, that was fun. And I put it down.
Right on. It only shows you people in your area?
Yeah, you can curate it or pay if you want to pay like a monthly fee or some shit. It's all new. I haven't been on it in years, but like, I'm like, I'm giving you $12 a month so I can like swipe more times or whatever the fuck it is. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's not. It's entertainment value for me, so I don't really give a fuck. I enjoy meeting people organically in person.
Where do you do that at? You just go to the because you're right by Ybor City still or not?
Ybor City. Ybor City.
I can't help it. I see the sign.
You fucking savage. It's savage. It's Ybor City.
When does a Y make an E sound?
When it's YBOR.
The only
Ybor
time.
City. Yeah, and I think it's Al Capone's fault.
Because what he called it Ybor?
I don't know if he named. I don't think he named it, but he was here. Like, this is one. If you look up,
if I had to drive down the highway to Ybor City, I would drive past it, thinking I was close because that one's Ybor, so Ybor must be next.
Oh my god. I'm actually parked where I'm parked right now. I say parked, but I live in this fucking thing. Like, I can just fucking. It's a 20-minute walk or a 2-minute Uber or whatever to Ybor downtown, like 7th Avenue. So I go down to my little local hole in the wall and hang out with my favorite bartenders and talk shit and fucking whatever.
You don't surf down there, do you?
Not on this coast. I mean, you can, like Sebastian Inlet's okay, but like if I surf, I usually go see Mark in Cocoa Beach.
Right. Yeah. That's only 3 hours away, right?
From here, it's about. I mean, depending how you drive and how I normally drive, I can do it too.
In that thing.
It should be, huh?
In that thing.
Oh no, in my race car. Like, I'm not.
Okay.
This thing does. Believe it or not, this thing does. Well, my house does 70 miles an hour. Thank you very much.
Right on.
And it's terrifying.
Everything falls off the walls.
Yeah, it's terrifying for anybody inside that's not me, but it's fun.
Yeah, I remember the life. It wasn't bad.
This thing tracks straight as shit. It's so easy to drive. You cruise on the fucking, and it's got a rev limiter and a governor on it, so it hits. What is it? 3,000 RPMs, and it maxes out there. And if you're on a nice flat road, you're doing 70, and it's fucking cool as a cucumber.
Have you taken that up in any mountains yet?
In the wintertime in the Rockies, on the way from Denver to Vegas. Well,
Why
from
would
Denver
you do that? That's
I
a
had
stupid idea, sir.
I had to. I got down to 30 miles an hour in second gear. It was terrifying.
Yes, it was. You white knuckles. You ready to die. I don't even like driving my RV through Appalachian or through Tennessee. You know.
Absolutely terrifying. But if you go look on my ex's page, she's got some photos and videos from that trip. and her videos panning through the windows and the skylights that we put in with the mountains and the snow in the background. It's incredible. It was so worth it. It was absolutely beautiful.
Snow tires? Did you put chains on them? What'd you do?
No, it's got just tires, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't in a fucking blizzard. It was just
okay.
Snowy out. The roads were pretty clean, so it was just wet. So it wasn't like we were driving. I wasn't driving through fucking a foot of snow or anything crazy.
Right. That scares the hell out of me. We'd just, we'd follow the sun in our RV and fly anywhere north.
We tried to, but ironically, that weekend that we were driving from Denver to, I think we were going to Moab in Utah before we went to Vegas, and we caught snow when we were going through the mountains, and we didn't know it was going to happen, so we're like, I guess this is our life today.
Right.
Fucking terrified trying to go through this shit. But great photos and video.
Well, worth it, I guess. Yeah. Now you got Instagram followers, so.
Well, they're on my ex's page, so I don't have shit.
Well, this wasn't worth it then. What are you talking about?
Well, it's worth it for her, and I get to look at them. I actually was looking through those old photos the other day on her page because I was feeling nostalgic.
So you already got on the Tinder, but you've been out to the local scene?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if I'm going to be totally honest, I have been insanely depressed since she left, and only in the last probably 3 weeks, I've kind of decided. Like, I woke up one day, I was like, I'm just tired of feeling like shit. So I just, put my shoes on, and like I was getting social anxiety. And me in public, I love being in crowds. Like, I'd go out to places I've been going for fucking 10 plus years, and if like by the third person that talked to me, I'd be having a fucking panic attack and having to go home. So it's been quite a ride, and I'm just now pulling myself out of it. So I feel like a human again, which is nice. But I mean, I still love her. I'm still sad about what happened, but I'm not in that hole anymore, So yeah, I haven't really been out like mingling and having a great time and partying and finding chicks and all that garbage. But I've been able to be out and be social.
You haven't done a tattoo convention in over a year or two, right?
No, the last one I did was actually with her, and we were in France.
Okay.
And that was 6 months ago. 6 months ago. 6 months ago, about a week before she broke up with me.
So they had COVID protocols there too? Were they stricter than they are here or not?
Not necessarily. They're just more, I don't want to say more responsible, more receptive to it. So if you've got to wear a mask, no one yells at the door. You just put a fucking mask on. If you can't get in because you don't have a fucking, actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you something cool. Find it. In France, in order to get in and out of places that are public, you need to have a pass sanitaire, which is a fucking
certificate,
COVID vaccine certificate with a QR code in the back with an app. So you can you don't have to actually carry this with you, but you can have it on your phone.
Right.
And you get into bars and museums and shit knowing that you have this. In order to get this as an American, however, American ones, as you know, I don't know if you guys are vaccinated or not, are a piece of fucking paper with scribble all over it. So a bunch of asshole American tourists were fucking getting these pads and forging them and then going to fucking Paris and then fucking their numbers up.
Oh.
So they said, we don't take Americans anymore. You got to go get a pass sanitaire from France. And we had to go by Notre Dame, and next door is a big hospital. And then you go sit in this little hallway, wait for this little office, and one little dude interviews you, looks at your card, punches your information in, asks you what arm it was, what city you were in, and kind of validates you actually got the vaccine. And then you get your French version.
Right on. Yeah, there's $2 million, two nurses in New York made by frauding.
Jesus
Christ. Frauding those things.
Could you imagine if this government and if the numbers are crazy in the US for COVID cases right now? The deaths have gone down because of the vaccine and other reasons. But could you imagine if every asshole that's like a home test and a home test, every home test is a QR code on it so you can report it to the government so they can tally numbers. How many people do you think actually do that?
I took a home test. I never gave it to anybody.
That's my point. So if you test positive at a home test, you throw it in the fucking trash, take a picture of it, and you're done. Could you imagine if the numbers were actually accurate?
Right. They'd be
Like
higher.
all those people with fucking forged vaccine cards, all these people with home tests that don't tell their fucking work and their fucking neighbors. If the numbers are already terrible, they'd be fucking double what they are now if everyone was actually honest about it. That's why it's not
Could
fucking
be.
going anywhere. That's why it's not going anywhere.
Well, it seems to be changing. I've heard several people theorizing we're looking at the end of it.
I fucking hope so.
I've
They
also
said
heard
that-
some theorize we're going to be living with it, and it will just be milder symptoms. And
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that I think they talked about after the holidays, from the holiday like exposures, it's gonna peak and like crest in like August, and then come back down again.
okay,
Which is,
yeah, I
is
used to watch the numbers a lot more closely.
Same.
It seemed crazy sometimes because I would go out to the Home Depot and nobody gives a fuck about wearing a mask or anything, but
Yep.
the numbers are like 8,000 and shit. You know,
You
from
should see
Michigan.
Florida.
On
See
it.
Florida.
on
It's
it.
like nobody here gives a flying fuck. It's insane. Like it doesn't exist.
But you
Like,
haven't caught it.
No, I
Right.
don't know how. Well, I wear a mask when I go in places and shit. I mean, I honestly, I would tell people all the time, like, what's a mask do? I'm like, go home and talk in your bathroom mirror. I said, we've been spitting in each other's mouths for fucking eons.
Right.
And because we haven't dealt with something like this, it didn't make a big difference. You just catch a cold. Well, if I don't get your spit in my fucking mouth, I might not get sick, you fucking dolt. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's easy math. And the fucking virus rides on saliva. It's
Right.
not airborne until it's airborne from us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It doesn't float around the sky. It comes out
Right.
of your fucking mouth and nose. So if I'm spit talking into a mask and you're spitting talking into a mask, we're not eating each other's fucking spit. It just
There's several people that have said it like this to me, and I do pause a little when they explain it. But they say, we're tattoo artists. We've been worrying about the health and safety of our clients for years. So
Yeah.
who are they to tell us how we should take care of them? And then I think to myself, well, they're the same people that told us we had to wear gloves.
yeah.
They're
That whole
the same
statement
people that
contradicts
told us we had to use a germicidal tuberculosis.
that whole thing contradicts itself. Like, we didn't invent clipcord sleeves, Kyle. That's a
You
dentist.
didn't.
That's a dentist thing for fucking dental tools.
Right.
Some other asshole said you guys should use these as a barrier for cross contamination, and every tattooer was like, "Oh my god, I need a clipcord sleeve so they don't kill everybody."
Well,
But they
the
don't want to
old
wear a
timer
mask.
that I came up with, he said that he was ridiculed as a youngster tattooing because he was one of the first people to wear rubber gloves then. They didn't have latex. Or he was wearing some kind of glove. Maybe it was but it was a doctor's glove.
Right.
And he would wear them while tattooing. And a lot of the old timers that were laughing at him actually had a patch of skin right here on their hand where they would test out their machine every day on the boardwalk. They'd dip in the ink that they would use on every customer, and they'd make sure the needle that they used on every customer was still working good. They'd tattoo their hand because it would come out there, but they'd have a leftover black spot where.
Yep. So you remember speed racks? Speed racks, they'd fucking take the machine, they'd tattoo your $5 bullshit, they'd swirl around in a bucket of HIV, and then fucking shake it off and put it in the fucking rack for the next asshole that walked in the door and spent $5. And they use the same tattoo and needle for a fucking week, or a machine and needle.
Right.
Until it got dull. And then you just fucking swirl it around in the bucket of fucking AIDS and fucking throw it back in the wall, and then wait for the next chump to walk in the fucking door. Nobody gave a fuck back then.
No,
It's crazy.
it was
crazy.
It was a little bit funny, but those are the people that are regulating us, and they were the ones that put down universal precautions, first to wear gloves, and that and I'm not the biggest supporter of them. I fought them pretty tooth and nail when they came into my town here because we were already regulated, you know, and I felt like the state regulation was going to be too much above and beyond. We already had a Genesee County regulation.
They don't honestly care. They just want our money.
Well, that was it too. I knew that I imagined that it was going to double with it, or it was going to rise, and it doubled within the first year.
Well, Mark and I helped. Well, Mark pioneered like a lot of the Florida. Yeah, he helped pioneer the fucking legalities of being a licensed tattooer in the state of Florida.
Okay.
And we all thought like, fuck, I can't wait, because we were all legit, by the book, doing things right. It would weed out all the hacks, and it didn't. Because they will fuck with you at a good shop if one little thing's wrong. But if I call them and tell them some asshole next door to me is tattooing his fucking living room every goddamn weekend.
Right.
They don't give a flying fuck.
Well,
They only want the dollars from the shops that are actual businesses.
It's similar to prostitution in some regard. And they're not going to make any money off of the guy who's tattooing with no money.
No,
he's living in a trailer.
And the cops don't give a shit. So like you tell the cops that's like below gas runs. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
They're not going to go raid a house that's having a tattoo party. They're going to ask to get tattooed. They don't give a shit.
You can't make money off of arresting a hooker.
Nope.
But you can make money off arresting a John.
Yeah, that's it.
So do you get rid of hooker or do you get rid of the John?
Yeah.
You get rid of neither. You keep the hookers so you can keep making money.
That's it. You take care. You get your paycheck from the fucking. I'm here to protect you. Where's my money?
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't want anybody knocking shit off these fucking shelves, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's a fucking mob. It's a mob mentality. Like like the only reason I'm having any issues is because of you. Like, who are you protecting me from? Like, here's my $60 a year. You can go fuck yourself. It's so stupid.
Is that all it is though down there in Florida? Is $60
to renew it is, yeah. Like once you get your original, like I've been licensed since the day one, since they started it, and it's like I think it's $120 to get it, and $60 to renew.
But when you go to out of state, a lot of times you have to get a new one still, right? For that
I've got to get either a temp license, like for Philly, I had to get, what was it? The health department, like, but I had to get a new BBP. Right. Like ironically for Florida, when we renew our license every year, we don't need a new BBP. I take it every year for other states. So I'm like, oh, I don't need to take that every year for Florida because I just renew my license. They know I fucking know what I'm doing. And I don't got to take the same stupid fucking 10-minute online class every goddamn year for $18, whatever the fuck it is, which is counterintuitive as fuck because it doesn't teach a shit. But I got to take it from Philly and like fucking California and shit. It's so stupid. So I always have one for some other state, but I don't need it for here.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not the best at taking those tests. I mean, I can pass it.
I found one online for Philly that took me literally 10 minutes and it was $10.
I can usually find a stray cat that can pass it for me. So I tie him in front of the computer.
I literally used to have my ex non-tattooer do it for me while I was at shows. You're like, do my BBP for the next one for me. Right. And she'd pass every time because it's fucking mindless.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Your 14-year-old, your 5-year-old could pass this test.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's so counterintuitive. Like, if you really want us to do things properly, make it something we need to learn. Like it's these companies are in bed with the health departments, they're in bed with these companies, and somebody's scratching each other's asses so they can get every dollar they can from us. Nobody really gives a fuck if we wear gloves properly or not, or if we know how to dispose of biomedical waste. They don't give a shit.
Right. I imagine they may.
It's crazy.
Sometimes you get that special, you get the health department person who wants to go a little bit above and beyond.
Oh yeah, that's because they just started their job that year and they're a little overzealous. And then I fucking talk shit to them at the convention and then they fucking love me a year later.
Wow, you talk shit, you get mad at them.
No, I tell them I clean my needles with urine and I don't give a fuck. I don't wear gloves anymore and all that weird shit. I razz every health department official at every convention I ever go to.
Even in Philly.
Always. They love me in Philly. I've known them for years.
I almost didn't get to tattoo there a year ago. Or 2 years ago. I was a little bit, I couldn't, they told me it was my responsibility to make sure they do their job.
Oh. Okay.
I'm like, I couldn't even, Troy had to come by and be like, Kyle, I love you. Calm down.
That's funny.
He did the, how he gets the voice when everybody's getting kicked out of the show at the end of the night.
Yeah.
He had to do that one with me. I don't know where he's practiced it, but it's like he's got some Dalai Lama shit going.
I gotta send the money. I just forgot I got an invoice from Villain Arts for the health department stuff. I forgot to pay.
Better write it down, brother.
Like you do the health department shit through the health department, but then you pay via Villain Arts the actual fee for the health department, which is $50 a booth.
Okay.
And then they funnel it to the health department, and I think they collect it all together and give them the one lump sum.
That's new, isn't it?
I remember doing that last time,
but
nice.
That's nice then, because that's what they didn't take my money last time, and I was supposed to make sure I did all the paperwork, everything went through right, but they didn't take my money. I was supposed to make sure they took my money. It was my job to make sure they did their job.
Well, Troy's office sent me an invoice, and I just remembered I hadn't paid it yet. Or maybe I did when I was drunk. I don't remember. I have to go look at my PayPal.
You getting drunk often enough?
I will show you my recycling box, but you don't want to see that. It's got a lot of cans in there.
No. What's the bathroom situation on your bus?
It's a very modest composting toilet setup. So I go to,
Don't that stink?
No, believe it or not, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. If you use peat moss, the enzymes break it down and it turns into fucking potting soil. It's crazy.
And then what do you do with it there?
You throw it in the trash or throw it in the woods or whatever. You want to help the plants grow, you throw it in the woods, you just throw it in the garbage. It's just a bag of dirt by the time you throw it away.
How often do you have to throw it out?
Well, it depends on how long you want to let it sit in there, because if you let it sit there too long, it fucking gets kind of funky.
Okay. Right.
Like you can't smell it at all on the bus. But if it's fucking, let's say you've got a friend over and you and your buddy took shits all weekend, and then you open the fucking toilet, fucking pee, and you're like, oh yeah, that's gotta go.
Okay. Right.
Like ironically, it doesn't waft out, and it's crazy because people think I'm fucking nuts. I'm like, yeah, like
I went to buy one of my when I was getting that first RV, we looked at several. One of them we looked at, they didn't it had a full, they were trying to sell it with a full shit box. Like we're driving down the highway to test drive it and it's just smelling like pure shit.
Oh yeah, no, this doesn't smell like anything. And no shit, it's literally, it's a box, it's a toilet seat cover, it's a bucket with a garbage bag in it and peat moss. And then the urine has got a funnel and it diverts it into a little jug. So when you move, you just put the caps on everything and make sure you fucking take that bag of fucking doo-doo soil and throw it in the trash and there's no smell.
Right on.
They call it humanure.
Humanure, huh?
Yeah, you can use it. You can use it to like grow flowers and shit. It's crazy.
Really? You could grow flowers with it?
I don't. That's weird, but
you grow some vegetables with it. That would be weird.
Yeah, but honestly, because of the acidity.
Hey, does everybody like the carrots we're having? Let me tell you a little secret about the carrot cake.
Right. I actually looked this up. I researched this quite a bit before I committed to it, but there's only like one vegetable you can grow with it that's safe to eat. Otherwise, I think the acidity or something in our bodies doesn't translate well to foods. Yeah,
we're protein heavy.
Yeah, so there's like, I think it's either, and honestly, I think it might even be carrots. It's like it's a root vegetable. It's like carrots or potatoes you can grow with human shit and it doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, according to that Martian movie with Matt Damon, then it would be potatoes, right? He grew the potatoes in his poo.
Yeah, that's probably what it is then. Yeah, it makes sense. That's wild.
So it must be true because it was on the movie.
There's a couple doo-doos in there right now, and I can't smell a thing.
But it's not a no shit on the bus kind of rule on your bus. Then.
No, yeah, no pooping in the rig does not apply. You can take. Actually, I had a girlfriend of mine come over, and she hadn't seen the bus, and I hadn't seen her in years. Actually, the one person I did meet out of the female persuasion was a girl I knew years back. I'm like, oh my god, I recognize you. What's your name again? Blah blah blah. We started chatting, had some drinks. She came back so we could watch TV together, and she fucking had no qualms shitting in the fucking bucket. I'm like, kudos to you. That's pretty rad.
Wait, it's a bucket? No, it's a toilet.
It's a toilet seat with a bucket underneath.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. You know, I could buy a fucking Nature's Head composting toilet for $1,000 that will stink to high heavens because it doesn't do everything properly. I got a bucket. I got a bucket with a garbage bag in it with peat moss, and I take a funnel shit.
For a bottle,
right? Funnel with a bottle for the piss because you don't put them together. Because if you pee on top of your shit, it'll funk this whole place up.
That's good. Yes.
The pee is what really smells. So you fucking take a dump on your little bed of peat moss. You make a nest. I feel
like I'm learning things.
Yeah, you make a nest before you lay your eggs.
Learning how cheap your bathroom system is. You hate plumbers that much? Dude, come on, give a man a job.
The wood and shit costs more than a fucking bucket. You know what I mean? I didn't pay shit for it. But then you fucking take a scoop of peat moss and you cover it up like you're doing it in the woods when you go camping, and then all of a sudden, like that, there's no smell. It completely absorbs it. It's fucking amazing.
Right on. Like
I mean, unless you got a funky ass diet or a really bad day where you're fucking making like brownie milkshakes, you generally don't have any problems.
Yeah, well, you have those days though, Mister. I drink every night. Well, faucet ass in the morning, huh?
Oh God, I've had some times when I'm like 4 a.m. I'm just fucking just dumping brownie milkshakes. I'm like, this is gonna fucking suck later.
Yeah, because you're sick. You don't want to clean up. but
I
you
still
got
cover
to.
it up though. Believe it or not, the peat moss absorbs that shit too. It's fucking wild.
You're not having to repair this vehicle every day. It seems to be good and
Yeah,
stable
I
home.
actually just ordered an exhaust gasket because where the headers come down or the exhaust manifolds come down and they meet the downpipe, that flange on the driver's side is kind of fucked up. So I keep blowing out that damn exhaust gasket. And a 366 V8 big block with a bad exhaust gasket. I drove
Loud.
almost all the way home from Vegas with a bad gasket with my fucking earphones in the music full blast because it was so fucking loud. It was killing my brain.
Right. Yeah, it's
But
loud.
when I fucking get it solid and I get this gasket fixed, it's got a side exit that's probably actually right about where I'm sitting. This fucking thing sounds like a fucking NASCAR. It's so fucking cool.
Well, yeah, it's a big block.
Yeah.
I had a 454 in mine, 454 big block, but
No
I
shit.
think there's a big difference. You have enough room to work on yours too.
Yeah.
You can pop the hood and look at it, right?
Oh, I can climb inside there. I've done it many times. I've had to fix
Yeah.
all kinds of shit inside the hood.
Not mine, like you're all curled up
Yeah,
like this,
no,
and having
I've
people hand you
seen- I've
wrenches and
seen-
shit.
I've seen how that shit works, even with the diesels, even with the fucking rear engines on some of the buses. They're just
Oh, dude,
fucking
I
horrible.
pulled in and saw a rear engine diesel, and it was the whole engine came out on
Oh, it slid,
hydraulic.
they had it slid on the tray thing. Yeah, I've seen that. It's crazy. This one, like, you know how the fucking old school truck, the fucking hood rocks all forward. The whole hood and headlights and
Yeah.
grill just flops forward, and I climb up on the tire and I'm in the engine bay. It's incredible.
Yeah, you're a gearhead. You've been a
Yeah,
gearhead.
always. So this is easy, and this is such an easy motor to work on. It's fucking cake.
Where'd you grow up, Aaron? You grew up in Florida, right?
Yeah. I was born in Massachusetts in 1977.
Right on. You're a young kid, one of the young
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, you say it, but from now on, whenever you see 19 anything, say 1900. It
Oh,
fucking
well.
it fucks people's heads up. Oh, I remember that song. That came out like 1994, right? And everyone's like, what did you say?
It makes them feel a little older.
It sounds like it's 100 years earlier. But yeah, I was born in Massachusetts and I moved to Florida when I was 2. So I basically been in Florida since I was 2 years old. I lived in Key West, Fort Lauderdale, Lake City, fucking Clearwater, Tampa, St. Pete. I lived all over the place in here.
You tattoo in Key West ever?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
I was too young. I was a baby conch. I was only there
Well, we
for
know
like,
all those kids. Okay. We know
Yeah, I
all
was
those
only-
kids out there, right?
yeah.
You
I was
know-
only like 4 years old when I was down there.
Actually, Steve Martin, who
Yep.
used to tattoo down there, he moved somewhere now, right? He's not in Key
I think
West anymore.
I think he's still in Florida though, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I
No,
should
no
be
problem.
better about remembering. But
Yeah,
my
same here,
memory
too.
is
Well,
so
we have
good.
so many people. We have so many people to keep up with. I don't know where the fuck anybody lives anymore. I don't know where the fuck you live.
Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan. Now I do.
Welcome to
Right.
it.
Flint, Michigan.
Hey,
City weather and worse water.
yeah, shitty water. Worth. I've seen worse cities in my travels, and
Fair.
some of them are even more expensive. So
Oh.
at least it's cheap living here.
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey, brother, I've stayed too long. I've said too much. I'm
No,
gonna
you're
get
good.
off.
That was fun. I appreciate it.
No problem. It's fun. I love you, brother. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon, buddy. Let me know if this plays out all right and the recording sounds good because I'm excited about it now.
I think so. I think it will, and it was certainly better than our last time when we chopped through it because we had that bad audio.
Yeah, that was, I had new earbuds. I was trying those out and I thought it sounded good. And I what the fuck do I know? When I heard it play back, I was like, oh my God, they sound terrible.
Right on. Yeah, you
If
heard
I
it then
talk on
too.
the phone with them, they're fine. But doing recordings and stuff like this, not good for it.
Bluetooth is funny. That's why I don't use it when I game.
Yeah,
When I play my COD, I'm playing on my tablet, and then I use $170 gaming headphones because I'm that lame. And then I play with thumb socks too, little socks that go on my thumbs so that when I get all hot and sweaty in the game, it don't fuck up on the screen.
Stop.
No, because that's the thing, man. It's sad, but it's true. I'm into it far too deep, man. I can't get out. I'm asking for a lifeline, I guess. Give me something better to do.
Right? Fuck.
Get me out of Flint. But
Yeah.
no, we love you, brother. We'll talk to you again soon.
Love you too. I'll see you guys soon, buddy.
Yes, sir.